So, as we go into season 7 of Glory Hunter, I was taking over at Ajax in the Dutch League, a team who had finished 9 points behind champions PSV. And they had a fairly decent squad, a good young goalkeeper in Kasper Tvisk, as well as long-serving players Sivert Mansverk and Joshua Zirkzee. Jorel Hato was also still here, and he was a player I would like to keep, despite him being worth a lot of money and generating interest for some big Premier League clubs. So this is how it's seen as being the best 11. Kimari Glover is ironically on loan here from Tottenham Hotspur, but that loan ends as this season ends because we're still technically in season 6. So he will go back to Spurs. I'm not going to be able to keep hold of him unless I go back in with another offer. Hato and Satalo are pretty good centre-backs. I would like to try and keep hold of both of them, but it is an area I will try and improve in terms of squad depth. However, we do have Zeno de Bast here, who is also a pretty good centre-back, as you can see. But again, he's generating interest and he's quite high value, so he may depart. I have to show you the goalkeeper. He looks exceptional. He's 6'3", 19 years old and worth between 91 and 114 million. He's already 4-star, 3.5 reputation. He's going to be my number one keeper if I can keep hold of him. Fortunately, there's nobody interested in him at the minute. He's only on 4,400, so I'm assuming he's going to come and ask for a new contract at some point very soon. But he is seen as a wonder kid, and I'm really pleased that we've got a Dutch goalkeeper that we can hopefully hang on to there. Tommy Setford is ironically still here. He's down as Dutch. He's also English. He is Charlie Setford's younger brother, and I think Charlie may have signed for Arsenal in real life. I'm not 100% sure. Did see him linked with Arsenal earlier in this transfer window, so he may go there. But I think Tommy and Charlie have been at Ajax since they were young kids. So despite being of English heritage, I think they must have lived in the Netherlands for a long period of time. But yeah, I'm really excited about being Ajax manager. It's a club I love. It's my favourite Dutch club, and I'm really excited about being here. I wouldn't mind doing a proper save with Ajax at some point, probably on FM25 now. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to being here. Who's the other player I wanted to show you? There's a young Cypriot centre back here. He is, who looks pretty good. His physicals need a bit of work, but other than that, he looks all right, and again wanted by some big clubs, and he's quite high value. So we'll have to see what happens with him. Joshua Zirkzee, he's signed for Manchester United in real life, hasn't he? Worth between 63 and 83 million. Don't think, yeah, I think he was he at Bayern? Well, it must have been at Bologna. I think Man United must have signed him from Bologna. I remember him being at Bayern Munich, but Ajax had signed him for 58 million at the start of last season. 2 seasons ago, sorry. And he's done okay, not fabulous. It wouldn't bother me if we moved him on and managed to bring in another striker. But yeah, looking forward to this. We'll go see what we can do transfer window wise and then come back in round about September time. Okay, we are back, and I'm not going to go through each individual player with you, but I will quickly go over who we've brought in. So these 3 are the first 3 players that we brought in, so from July onwards. Yamamoto is a right back, Kim Kyun-ho is a centre midfielder, and Miyagawa is a striker. We've raided them from the Southeast Asian market. Unfortunately, Divine Wrench left. His contract was open. I couldn't get him to agree to a new contract. He's gone to PSV, our arch rivals, for free, which is a little bit disappointing considering he's a good squad player for us here at Ajax. So these are all the ins and outs since Season 7 started. So I've been kind of in charge of all of this. Transfers out, I'll start with, because there's some big fees there that have gone. I'm not too fussed about these players that have left. The only one that I would have liked to have kept was him, but Manchester City were offering 65 million. He is a regen, he's a centre midfield, attacking midfielder, very, very good, and he's worth like over 100 million now, and I think he's going to be a world star. But getting just this 65 million in, the rest were just all players I could just do without. but getting this 65 million in meant I could go spend on these players here, which has added some real quality to the squad. The only real player is João Rigo, who most of you know is like a left winger and also an attacking midfielder. He can really, really add some quality to our wide areas here. So I'm excited that I brought him in. The rest of them are regens. I'll show you them in a bit, but it's just basically given us a decent squad. So this is it now, again, sorted by ability, really. And like I said, we brought in a lot of young players down here that can help us really, really push on. I think we can challenge PSV. I'm going to say Manchester City then. I think we can challenge PSV. I managed to hold on to Hato, which I'm pleased about. And Gologna's come in, who we managed to pick up. He looks absolutely fabulous. It reminds me of Luka Modric. I think he's going to be a brilliant, brilliant player. So we managed to pick him up. Really pleased with that. Mansverk's still here. He's pretty good. Xerxes still here. Pretty good. We brought in a striker to help cover, which is Miyagawa, only 20 years old, but he will help cover with Xerxes. Valentino Bigger looks a really, real quality attacking midfield / striker from Argentina that we managed to bring in. Rigo's injured at the minute, but he's not going to be out for long. But yeah, we've got a fairly small but good squad. I don't care about the Champions League. We've won that. I'm putting that to one side now. I'm not going to focus on that at all. What I need to focus on with Ajax is winning the Eredivisie and the Dutch Cup. And if I can do that in 2 seasons, fabulous. And I've done here with this squad very much like I did with Marseille, except I've retained a lot of the original squad. I've just brought in a lot of young players by selling that kid for 65 million, reinvesting in the squad so that we've got something ready for season 2. But you never know. You never know. The Dutch League, there's only 3 teams, and it's a bit like the Portuguese one, where we went to Sporting Lisbon and we had Benfica and Porto. We're here at Ajax, and we've got Feyenoord and PSV to compete with. And then I think the rest are teams we should beat. But we'll have to see how it goes. PSV are obviously a fairly strong squad. They took one of my players in Divine Wrench, which was a bit disappointing. But it is what it is. We'll see how we go. I'm confident we've got a very good squad here that can do what we need to do. We can win either the Cup or the League in the first season. But let's see how we go. And we really did put the Champions League to one side as we were knocked out on aggregate in the 3rd qualifying round against Zurich. It meant we dropped into the UEFA Europa League, which is another competition we'd already won. So again, I wouldn't be paying too much attention to this. Man, we got off to a fine start in the Eredivisie, winning our first 3 games in a row. However, we then dropped 2 vital points away at Fortuna Sittard. Those dropped 2 points didn't deter us though, as we then won another 3 games in a row, beating Almere City FC 8-0 and Excelsior 3-0. But a 1-0 defeat away at SC Camber brought us right back down to earth. However, the boys must have known I wasn't happy at all, and the following game was a 9-1 win over Go Ahead Eagles at the Johan Cruyff Arena. But again, we dropped 2 more points on the road as we travelled to Sparta Rotterdam. But we then won another 3 games in a row, beating Utrecht, Heerenveen and Zwolle. And next up was our first big game of the season as we took on Feyenoord. It didn't take long, just 5 minutes in fact, for Valentino Bigger to give us the lead. David Suzic made it 2-0 with a wonderful free kick on 28 minutes. And just after the break, we made it 3-0 when Kenneth Taylor broke through the defence and put a fine strike past Bielschau. And with just 2 minutes left on the clock, it was Satalo's cross that Randy van Leeuwen met and made it 4. And in stoppage time, there were time for a 5th when Valentino Bigger's lovely curling shot gave us all 3 points and a comfortable 5-0 win against Feyenoord. A 4-2 victory over Alkmaar followed, but then we dropped our first points at home in a 1-1 draw against Willem. It was then the big test, the away game against PSV in the Eredivisie. First time we were playing against the champions, However, Bologna managed to find some space in the box to turn and fire the ball into the roof of the net after just 27 minutes. But just before half-time, Lang smashed the ball off the roof of the bar and made it 1-1. And that's how the game finished, despite PSV playing with 10 men for the last 30 minutes. And we won our last 2 games before the winter break, beating Heracles 8-1 and Nijmegen 4-1. It meant that us and PSV were joint top of the table on 46 points, both winning 14, drawing 4 and losing 1. It was just that our goal difference was far superior, and at the minute, that was all that stood behind us and the former champions. And when it came to the Dutch Cup, we'd only played 1 round so far, and that resulted in a 16-0 win, with us having 45 shots at goal. Willem are the only team to take points off us at the Johan Cruyff Arena, and when I saw that we were drawn against them away in the 3rd round, it left me feeling a little bit anxious. So things are going okay, I guess. We're top of the table, albeit on goal difference. We're still in the Dutch Cup, which is great, although we've got a tricky tie. So that may change in the next couple of weeks, but so far things are going okay. Xerxes been brilliant, 26 goals in 18, is really flourishing in this formation that we're using. Danny Diaz is like the Spanish version of Danny Dyer, isn't he? He's got 26 goal contributions in 21, he's been fabulous on that right-hand side. And I have to say, when Valentino Bigger has come in to deputise for him as well, he's been brilliant. Fabrizio Santiago, left-back, has been wonderful. He was here when I got here. He's been great. Jean Rigo's really took to the Dutch league, getting 11 goal contributions in 11 starts. Bologna, like I said, reminds me of Modric. He's going to be a fabulous player in this save for years to come. Hopefully we can get him at some of the other clubs that we go to, because he really is just absolutely fantastic. Mansverk's done a job for us. 14 goal contributions in 25, despite playing in that DM role for most of it. Tommy Setford's playing in goal at the minute because Kasper Tvisk has been injured. But both of them have done really well when they've come in and had to do a job. Yeah, it's going all right. It's going all right. I can't complain. So the transfer window's open. We've got around about 70 million to spend. We didn't spend all that income that we generated at the start of the season. So we'll go see what we can do, see if there's any way we can improve on this squad and give us a little bit of an advantage going into the rest of the season. So I've only made 2 signings. This is the first one that I brought in, Dragan Panic. He looks pretty good, particularly his technicals. Mentals are all right. Physicals are developing quite well. Like that he's got 16 strength at just 18 years old, and despite only being 5'7", that's quite ironic. His main position is centre midfielder, but he can play right back, which gives us some options there, which is pretty good. And he can hopefully, come in and do a job for us. But yeah, 18 years old, probably one for next season. And then I couldn't resist. I absolutely love this player. He was great for us at Sporting Lisbon, and I've not seen much of him in real life, but everyone at Tottenham is just talking about how good this player is going to be in the years to come. Having him and Archie Gray in our centre midfield going forward, I think, is really going to be something special. I think the two of them can be absolute wonder kids and real quality players for future if Spurs can hang on to both of them. But yeah, it was great for us, wasn't he, at Sporting Lisbon? He did okay for us when we were at Tottenham, but it was a bit of a step up for him, I think, on the game. And bringing him to the Dutch league, very much like the Portuguese league, I think he will do wonders for us here at Ajax. So yeah, really excited to have him here for the rest of the season. And the only player we let go for just under $1 million was Guija. So we've not done much in the January transfer window. We've let this lad go, and then we brought Bergvall and Panic in. So this is how the squad looks. We have been suffering with a lot of injuries through January. So some key players like Mansverk, Kenneth Taylor, Valentino Bigger, Danny Diaz have all suffered injuries. As backup striker, Randy van Leeuwen, also out injured at the minute. He's got 6 in 8, so he's done well when he's come in, but he's not going to be available for a little while. We are now a 1 point clear of PSV, So we have another slight advantage. They lost their second game, which was against Feyenoord. And we still have that just one defeat against Camber, which, unbelievable, down here in 11th. Can't believe we lost to them. That was just the weirdest game ever. But it is what it is. So the two games we've had in January, we drew 1-0 against Rode, and then we beat Fortuna Sittard 3-0. And then we've got a fairly comfortable run, I would say, up until about here. So we might drop some points when we're away from home. P&V might be a tricky tie away, but I'm not expecting us to lose any of these games. This will be the difficult one. PSV is the last game of the season at home, which is interesting, isn't it? That will be hopefully not a decider, but if it is, I'm confident because we're at home. If we'd have been away, I'd have been a little bit more nervous. And we did get past Willem. We beat them 1-0, Valentino Bigger, 84th minute, and now we go away to go ahead Eagles, who we beat 9-1, was it? I think. Yeah, we beat them 9-1. Although it was at home, it was a fantastic result. But yeah, we've got them next in the quarterfinal of the Cup. And Feyenoord are not in it. They've been knocked out. And PSV have also got an away tie. I'd have felt better if they'd have been away to Alkmaar. But yeah, I think us and PSV will get through to the semi-finals. Hopefully we don't draw each other and we both get through to the final, play each other in the final. That'd be interesting as well, wouldn't it? Final game of the season for the Eredivisie and then the Dutch Cup final between us both would be quite weird. Not that I'm prioritising this, as you can tell, with the defeats. We lost at home to Man United, which we probably would lose, and then we lost away to Red Star Belgrade, which was a ridiculous result. But we have had some good wins. Away at Valencia was a very good win, and then obviously beating everyone that we should beat. Empoli, probably a difficult challenge, but you know we overcome that quite well. So yeah, we're through to the knockout round. We finished in 9th place, so just missed out on qualifying automatically for the last 16. So we've got to go through that qualifying phase before we can move forward. But like I say, not prioritising this at all. So let's go see how we get on with the rest of this season and hopefully get some silverware in that trophy cabinet. And so, as predicted, we did win the majority of those games leading into that Feyenoord match, only dropping 2 points, which was the home tie against Sparta Rotterdam. And so, with 4 games remaining, we have a 4-point cushion on PSV. However, out of the 4 games we have remaining, we have to play the 3 teams below us as well as AZ Alkmaar. And the quarter-final of the Dutch Cup got off to a decent start after 15 minutes when Jarl Heto headed home. But just before the break, Go Ahead Eagles made it 1-1 when Roger blasted it past Twisk. And Eagles were clearly looking for revenge after that 9-1 defeat earlier in the season because 10 minutes into the second half, they were 2-1 up. Our quality was shining through though, and Steven Bergwijn made it 2-2 on the 60th minute. It took while the 90th minute before we could find another breakthrough, and it was Joshua Zirkzee who met Valentino Bigger's cross, and we were 3-2 up in the last minute. And Zirkzee put the game beyond any doubt and put us through to the semi-final with another fine finish from the edge of the 6-yard box. It was 4-2, and we were through to the semi-final. And up next was AZ Alkmaar, and we got off to another great start with a fine header from Valentino Bigger. And 20 minutes after his first goal in the 25th minute, he got another header at the back post, making it 2-0. And the game was made much easier when Tishan Shade got a straight red card for a challenge on Kenneth Taylor. And with just 5 minutes to go, Steven Bergwijn put the game beyond any doubt and us through to the final. And our first opportunity of winning silverware got off to a great start yet again. After just 8 minutes, João Rigo putting us up 1-0 in the final. And just 10 minutes later, it was Valentino Bigger's strike from the edge of the box that made it 2. And within another 10 minutes, we were just completely dominant. Great play from João Rigo down the left, and his fine finish made it 3-0. And in stoppage time of the first half, Loco brought down Diaz in the box, and the referee awarded a penalty. Sivert Mansverk doesn't usually miss from the spot, and the nerves of the cup final didn't deter him, and it was 4-0 to us at half-time. It took us a few minutes to get going in the second half, but by the hour mark, Valentino Bigger had made it 5-0 when he reacted quickest with his head from a goalmouth scramble. PSV got one back about 7 minutes later when they headed home from a corner. And PSV got a second consolation when Santiago turned the ball into his own net from one of their crosses. There was no coming back though from PSV, and we completely dominated the final. We won the Dutch Cup at the first attempt, and watching the boys go up and proudly lift the trophy brought a little tear to my eye. So that's the Dutch Cup in the bag, but we do have 4 games remaining in the league, and we've got some tricky ties. Feyenoord away, who are in 3rd place, Willem away, who are in 4th place, and then we've got to play PSV at home in the final game. The game against AZ Alkmaar is in there, but we're at home, and they're mid-table. I'm confident we should win, albeit we have dropped some points at home against mid-table clubs that may cost us at the end. We've beaten Feyenoord 5-0 in the reverse fixture. However, we were suffering with a major cup hangover as Sauhauri made it 1-0 after just 18 minutes. And on the 22nd minute, when Talo lost the ball as he was trying to dribble it out from the back, Feyenoord made it 2-0 when Sauhauri got his second of the game. Valentino Bigger did get one back, though, at the start of the second half with a fabulous left-foot strike. But Feyenoord are no mugs at their home ground. They beat PSV here, and after scoring a 3rd goal in the 72nd minute with a fabulous free kick, they'd also beaten us. Score finished 3-1. And after PSV had won their game, there were just 1 point in it with 3 games left to play. It meant the game against Alkmaar was now a must-win match. And after 28 minutes, Joshua Zirkzee put us 1-0 up. And on 34 minutes, João Rego's fabulous strike made it 2-0. And just before half-time, Joshua Zirkzee got his 2nd goal of the game when his left-foot strike on the half-turn beat Kovacevic. There was no reply from Alkmaar, and we won the game 3-0. However, PSV won their game as well, which meant with 2 matches remaining, there was still just 1 point in it, as they host Go Ahead Eagles, and we travel to 4th place, Willem. It was an extremely tense affair in Willem at our last away game of the season, where we had to win the match to have any chance of claiming the title, and Diaz's cross was met by a long-serving centre midfielder, Kenneth Taylor, and he gave us the lead. And the tensions were lifted on the hour mark when Kenneth Taylor found João Rego and he made it 2-0. And yet again, there was no reply from Willem, and we'd been completely dominant with 59% of the possession and 18 shots to their 1. And with PSV also winning their game, it meant there was just 1 point between us and the current champions to decide who would win this season's Eredivisie. I'd picked our best possible side, and I was fairly confident it was strong enough to at least get a point and give us the championship. I'd also given the boys as much encouragement as I possibly could, and after just 4 minutes, I thought we might have got a penalty after Zirkzee was brought down in the box. However, the ref checked with VAR, and the decision was no penalty. The deadlock was finally broken in the 41st minute when Jarrell Hato headed home from a Mansverk corner, and we were 1-0 up with 4 minutes remaining of the first half. And in stoppage time of that first half, João Rego did one of his fine finishers into the bottom corner past Benitez, making it 2-0 on the night. And I felt like the game was being put beyond all doubt after just 5 minutes of the second half when Amenda put the ball past his own goalkeeper, making it 3-0 to us. And on the 55th minute, we defended a PSV free kick with Yamamoto and Diaz breaking rapidly on the counter-attack, and between the pair of them, we made it 4-0. And it was soon 5-0 when PSV were trying to get back into the game. They left the defence wide open, which Bologna took advantage of. And then in the 87th minute, it soon became 6 when João Rego got his second of the game. It finished 6-0, a wonderful performance, a fantastic result, and it consequently handed us the Eredivisie title, taking it from PSV as they had to watch on whilst we lifted the trophy. So after just one season, we've managed to win the Eredivisie and the Dutch Cup with Ajax, a repeated feat from what we did at Marseille in the French League and Sporting Lisbon in the Portuguese League. Really pleased. I'm actually a little bit disappointed that I'm only going to be here one season because I really like the team that I put together. I think they've got some fantastic players. Xerxes been brilliant, absolutely fabulous. 38 goals in 39 games. If he's anything like that in real life, Manchester United have got a great striker on their hands. João Rego, what a signing. Probably the signing of the season for us. The fact that he's got 29 goal contributions in 35. Valentino Bigger as well has come on leaps and bounds throughout the entire season. We gave him some game time as both a striker and a right winger, filling in when Diaz or Xerxes was out. Bergwijn has surprised me, being a Spurs fan. He never really shone that much at Spurs, but here, 20 goal contributions in 14 starts. That's not to be sniffed at all. Sivert Mansverk's been fabulous as well. What a servant for Ajax he's been, as well as Kenneth Taylor. Cyril Galogne, going to be potentially a future Ballon d'Or winner. He's been brilliant here at Ajax. He's probably going to go on to bigger and better things. And yeah, the whole team has done really well. And I thought, coming to Ajax would probably give us the best potential chance of winning silverware here in the Netherlands. PSV maybe. Feyenoord have dropped off a little bit in real life as well as in the game. So, yeah, really, really pleased. Bergwijn didn't really get much of a sniff. I brought him in here thinking he'd add that quality that we needed, but I didn't really need him. Mansverk and Kenneth Taylor. I mean, Kenneth Taylor, look at that. 26 goal contributions in 40 from centre midfield. What a player. What a player. So this is how the table finished. We finished 4 points clear. We got 105 goals, only conceded 21, 84 goal difference. Lost those 2 games. I tell you what, when I lost that Feyenoord game, I thought if Willem beat me as well, I definitely then need to beat PSV, which I didn't think was going to be entirely possible. I thought it could have been a draw, or they could have snatched the win, given how good they've been. But yeah, beating Willem after losing the Feyenoord game was pretty good. Which meant, obviously, we could have afforded just a point at home to PSV, but smashing them 6-0. And we beat them 5-2 in the cup final as well, after being 5-0 up. So yeah, we've completely dominated PSV, which I'm chuffed to bits with. And here's a run in the Dutch Cup. As you can see, we won against PSV 5-2 in the final, and then we won the other games that we showed you earlier. Not sure if you're interested in the Europa League, but if you are, we lost to Aston Villa on aggregate. We actually beat them 3-1 at home, but then lost 5-2 away, which meant we were knocked out on aggregate. And so, after 7 seasons, we can add the Eredivisie and the Dutch Cup to the Bobbybarks trophy cabinet. And it meant there was just one more thing left to do in this season, and that was resign from Ajax and hopefully find a job somewhere else in one of the leagues we still need to win silverware in.